Pretty easy, right? Okay. Yeah. When you are writing a claim, topic sentence, about narrative perspective, you should have 4 parts. So let's see if we can write some topic sentence claims about some of the stories that we've read. I'll start you off with one that I just mentioned. 2 kinds. Author? Amy something? Anybody remember the last name? Yell it out. Tan, thank you. Amy Tan. Story is called 2 Kinds. Narrative perspective? I'm sorry? First person? Let's double check. If it's not first, then what's the other option? Third limited. It's either first or third limited. How are we going to verify? Look at the story and look at pronouns. Thank you. Good question. Page? Your unit guide will have page numbers listed. Tables of contents will have page numbers listed as well. 143? Thank you. No, 4 is a preposition. Yep, I. First person, thank you very much, Adriana. Notice that I also listed whose perspective it is. Jingmei's perspective. What do we want to say the effect is? What's the effect of using a first person? I've just given you a list of different effects, Sarah. Bias against mom. Oops. By the way, quick note that I've noticed in a lot of your writing, mother is formal, mom is slang. Father is formal, dad is slang. Police is formal, cop is slang. Child is formal, kid is slang. So in formal writing, I want you eliminating slang from your writing. Those are some words that you traditionally use and don't notice that they are actually slang. There you go. That's your claim. That's your topic sentence. That's very specific. That will lead a nice little paragraph about narrative perspective analysis. But in order for you to do this, you must have all 4 of those pieces of information. And what will create the most trouble for you is this. Because this is the place where the sophomore year you're advancing a little bit more. You probably have identified different perspectives, different points of view, but chances are pretty good that you've never really thought about the effect on the reader. And that's what we're studying now. Let's try another one. Now it's time for you. Which story you want to deal with? Mm-hmm. Okay. What's the narrative perspective? It's not first, actually. So Phil, you were close. It's not first, but if it's not first, that means it's third limited. And Phil, whose perspective do we have? Do you remember his name? Mead. What's the effect? Take a look at your list of effects. Which one do you want? Sure, bias against the police, but the police really represent what? Society, right? If you listen to Ray Bradbury himself talk in interviews, you'll find out that when he wrote this story, and still today, he's still alive, guy's like 500 years old, that he was very, very angry. He had actually been stopped for this very same reason when he was walking around his home in Los Angeles. And he was stopped. He was just walking because he wanted to walk. This is the kind of guy who reads books, hangs out in libraries, writes books, and just walks around looking at the world and thinking. And that's all he was doing, was walking and just sort of thinking, enjoying the night. And cops stopped him and hassled him and said, "What are you doing?" "I'm walking." "Well, you can't do that." So he got really angry. He wanted to take that anger and throw it into a story. So whose perspective must he have? He must have the individual who is being accosted by the police. He can't give you the perspective of the police, because if you were giving you the perspective of the police, he might be creating sympathy for them, and he doesn't want to do that. He wants you not to like them. What's the easiest way for you to like somebody? Understand them. If you understand somebody, you're much more likely to appreciate them, to feel sympathy for them. If you don't understand them, it's much easier to be afraid of them and to not like them. Narrative perspective. And here's how the sentence would write. In The Pedestrian, Ray Bradbury uses Mead's third-person perspective to create a bias against the society of the story. That's it. And by the way, I can write those all day simply because I know a formula. If you can adopt the formula, you can do that too. Haven. Yeah, create suspense, because Mead doesn't know what's going on, therefore you don't know what's going on in those darkened houses, in that car. Absolutely. Connor. Anyone that seems reasonable. Yeah. If you can support it with evidence, Connor. Make sure you've got some evidence to support. Any further questions? Yeah?
I don't get how
I'm sorry?
I don't get how it's
Mead is his name.
I know.
So, do you see the story from anybody else's eyes? You don't see the story from the people in the house, right?
Is Mead saying I or is Mead
No.
saying
The narrator is talking about, correct. The narrator is in Mead's head, looking through Mead's eyes, and so on. That's why it's limited to his perspective. Well, I'm going to take another look at the story, and he'll say Mead, and he'll say he, and so on. Okay?